Welcome to FDSMTG News for Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. MagicCon is going to Spain. On Wednesday, January 11th, the PlayMTG Twitter account announced that the MagicCon that was being held in Europe is going to be happening in Barcelona, Spain, on July 28th through the 30th. So that rounds out the schedule to be MagicCon Philadelphia, February 17th through the 19th, MagicCon Minneapolis, May 5th through the 7th, MagicCon Barcelona, July 28th through the 30th, and MagicCon Las Vegas, September 22nd through the 24th. Which one are you going to? I'm gonna probably be in Philadelphia, so come say hi. Wizards addressed the leaks of All Will Be One from last week, confirming that there was a mix-up and there was a very small number of Dominaria Remastered packs that were given All Will Be One rares. As a quick side note, in last week's story on this topic, I erroneously stated that both the rares and mythics were leaked, but I was wrong, it was just the rares. The article confirming the leak blamed it on the Phyrexian invasion, and that it was even affecting their other products, which in my opinion was a fun way to acknowledge that they'd done goofed, especially when compared to the other "we done goofed" article Wizards put out last week. They went on to explain that while this was a mistake, they are planning on continuing to go forward with preview season as normal, stating that while the rares have already been revealed, the alternate art versions have not, so preview season will be happening as expected starting today, January 17th. There's an article linked below in the description that shows where previews can be found for Phyrexia All Will Be One. We're gonna take a quick detour to the game next door and talk about D&D for a minute. If you've been on YouTube at any point in the last few weeks, you will have probably seen a thumbnail or 10 referring to D&D, the OGL 1.1, and Wizards Hasbro hating their fans. I thought I would sneak a quick rundown of the situation in case you were interested or confused. This is going to be a very high-level overview without getting into too many details, but I will link two videos down below that I think cover the controversy very well between them. 5th edition D&D is covered by something called the Open Game License, or the OGL. The long and the short of it is that it says that people can create content around D&D without permission from Wizards. Obviously, they can't use copyrighted work or trademarked items, but otherwise they are good to go. D&D is coming out with a new edition next year and decided to update the OGL. A few weeks ago, it leaked, and frankly, all hell broke loose. The OGL 1.1 included a notification clause where you needed to notify Wizards anytime you were going to create content under the new OGL 1.1, a royalties clause where if you were to make over $750,000 from your work, Wizards would be entitled to 25% of the funds over that amount, and my favorite, an irrevocable license by Wizards that basically states that anything created under the OGL is free for Wizards to use without permission. Oh, and it also made the previous OGL null and void, so the new OGL 1.1 would apply to all previous editions of D&D. So that's fun. D&D YouTube blew up, to the point that even massive non-D&D channels, like the Philip DeFranco Show and Legal Eagle, have covered the story. The blowback seems to have worked, as Wizards has walked back the document in a statement. Now, the statement was trying to be fun and cheeky, but ended up coming across as, "Hello, fellow nerds," and "We were just kidding, God." And it also should be pointed out that the OGL 1.1 hasn't been officially released yet, but the statement walking back this version of OGL 1.1 basically confirmed that it was true. If you want much more detail on the topic, check out the video by Sherlock Hulmes, as well as a video by Legal Eagle. Links in the description. They cover the topic from two vantage points, one from within the community and one from without, and between the two I think give great context to the overall narrative. Have you ever wanted to learn how to say the phrase, "screw it, I scoop," in Phyrexian? Well, guess what? Now you can. On Thursday, January 12th, Wizards posted on the Magic website an article that goes into detail about the language of Phyrexian, showing the alphabet, the pronunciation, and more. Thus far, the study of the Phyrexian language has been relegated to internet sleuths, taking the cards that were printed in Phyrexian and cobbling together the alphabet as time went on, each new card yielding one more piece of this very complicated puzzle. This is actually quite an exciting day for those linguistic Vorthoses out there. Wedge is back! On January 14th, Wedge of the Mana Source returned with a video discussing the red and white color pair of Boros. For those unaware, the Mana Source was one of the largest Magic YouTube channels for many years, up there with the likes of Tolarian Community College and the Command Zone. The Mana Source has videos ranging from gameplay discussion, color philosophy, as well as a very popular series discussing the worst cards in Magic history. About 3 years ago, Wedge sadly suffered a spinal injury, which forced him to stop creating content while he rehabilitated related. Along with the new video, Wedge posted a statement explaining his absence, the struggles with his weight, and how it affected his rehabilitation, as well as how he is now ready to rejoin the active Magic the Gathering content creation community. I, for one, am very happy to see Wedge's return, and cannot wait to see the next installment of the worst cards of Magic. The leaks for Phyrexia All Will Be One notwithstanding, the story for the set has been released on the Magic website, and we now know who has been completed and who is safe. Most of the cards were also revealed for those planeswalkers, completed or otherwise. I'm going to be running the cards over here on the side, so be warned that there will be spoilers for Phyrexia All Will Be One going forward. To many people's surprise, both Vraska and Jace were completed, and now many Vorthos are questioning why they are putting up with this crap from the Magic lore team. And to be fair, this has been a question I've been asking myself since my favorite Leonin decided to get really into body modification. Look, I understand that over the next two sets they are making massive changes to the Magic lore as well as the gameplay, so they have to make a big splash. And the fact that many of the walkers who made it are ones that are relatively new, or they've been around forever but we haven't seen them in the story for over a decade, at least in any meaningful way. The oiled up walkers are mostly the main protagonists from the last 5 to 10 years. This speaks to the massive change coming. Does this mean they will stay completed, paving the way for a new Gatewatch? Or will some of them be cured? But the cure creates the huge paradigm shift in the story and gameplay. We'll have to wait and see. I know, I'm just unlucky in that my list of favorite walkers happen to be topped with the ones getting all oily, but it just feels like they heard all of the feedback from War of the Spark, that it really didn't have very high stakes and had little lasting impact on the Magic multiverse at large, and decided to go in the opposite direction than War. In War of the Spark, only Domri, Dack Fayden, and Gideon die. Technically, Niv Mizzet died as well, but he came back and got to be the living Guild Pact, or the unliving Guild Pact. I don't know the technicalities of an undead Guild Pact. I'm sure Domri had his fans, but he was written in that story like a fur-clad Starscream without the charm. Gideon was a bit of a loss, but frankly, he's the Superman/Captain America analog of the Magic universe, and that is by far the hardest character to write for, just so milquetoast. So I understand why the writers wanted to get him shuffled off to Elysium as fast as they could. Dack Fayden, the character most people were upset about, didn't even get a card, the most interesting character of the three, and he got an off-screen stabbing. But considering the scope of the War of the Spark story, Nicol Bolas trying to steal all of the sparks of all of the planeswalkers across the multiverse, as well as butchering the majority of the inhabitants of an entire plane for the lulz, and we get 4 deaths, and one didn't even keep. Hell, Nicol Bolas himself didn't even die. He just got a timeout. But with one, it seems like they decided that just everyone's gonna die. I'm just hoping the big changes bring with them some satisfying closure to everything that is happening now. But if it doesn't, I hope when we get into Eldraine, Garruk better be fine and just doing his thing. That guy has suffered enough. That about does it for today. Like, subscribe, support me on Patreon, and have a wonderful day. Oh, and click on stuff. On January 14th, Wedge of the Mana Source returned with a video discussing the red and up there with the likes of the Professor from talking about the worst Karj and Karj, and how he was now ready to rejoin. The blowback seems to have worked because Wizards has quote, there was a very small number of Dominaria. The leaks for Phyrexia All Will Be One notwithstanding, the story? I'm going to be running the cards over here on the side, so be warned. Spoilers for that 4. And now many Vorsosh, to many people's comprise, but it just feels like they heard the feedback from War of or the unliving Guild Pact. I don't know the technicalities of an undead to Guild Pact. I'm just hoping the brig ranges.
This show is part of the CIP network, inspiring creativity, one episode at a time.